What's going on, everyone? So potential number 2 or number 3 prospect in Scoot Henderson had his workout today in a showcase in Portland. He tried out for the Portland Trailblazers. This guy is, in many people's eyes, the next big thing. This guy, obviously, Wembanyama is the freak of nature, but if it wasn't for Victor Wembanyama, Scoot Henderson very likely might have went number 1. Right? And many believe that this is the guy that you need to take that's going to change the course of the NBA and change the course of your organization. And the Portland Trailblazers hold the number 3 pick, which very likely Scoot Henderson could fall to. And if that's the case, because the Charlotte Hornets have the number 2 pick, do they really want to go with Scoot Henderson when they have LaMelo? So that's a real question. So if you're the Blazers, you're looking at it like, hey, we may end up getting Scoot Henderson. Now, this is a guy that has been hyped for quite some time now and has continued to show what he could potentially deliver. Now, he's only working out for the Portland Trailblazers and the Charlotte Hornets. Those are the only 2 teams that he's working out for, because those are the only 2 teams that are going to take him. I don't see him falling 4th or 5th or anything like that. He is very likely going to go either 2nd or 3rd. So it makes sense that he would only work out for those teams. 6'2" height, 195 pounds, looks like a tank. I mean, this guy is solid. He also very likely could continue to grow. He's only 19, so you see it all the time. Guys that are 6'2", 6'3", all of a sudden they're 6'4", 6'5". So if he has the potential to grow, he's got the stockiness. He just played for the G League Ignite, in which he averaged just under 17 points, 5 rebounds, and 6.5 assists. So he was killing it over in the G League. Again, playing against NBA level talent. And in his workout, he looks great in his workouts. He really does. This is a guy that he's looking like he's living up to the hype. Now, you never really know how somebody translates or turns out to be until they get into the NBA and they actually start playing games. But this guy is projected to be, that Ja Morant. A year ago, people were calling him Westbrook with a jumper. So Westbrook had a pretty good career, right? And the one thing he didn't have was a jumper. So, and again, Scoot isn't a great elite shooter, but he is a guy that can shoot the ball a bit and score the ball, right? So, how can he develop into anything close to that? If he can, then perfect, right? Now, in the G League, this year, just to be fair and put some perspective on it, he did shoot 28% from 3-point range and then 43% from the field. So that's something to keep in mind. That's not great by any means, but he has a good looking shot. He has the tools and intangibles to be successful. It also begs the question, based on what we have seen from him, Damian Lillard, right? What does Portland do? Do they really trade the number 3 pick when you could get a guy in Scoot Henderson who could be your cornerstone for the next 10 plus years, for a guy in Damian Lillard that maybe has 3 years left? I really think, and I've said this before, and I really think they need to do it, I really think you just trade Damian Lillard. I don't know why you would trade Simons and the 3rd pick and what? Who are you going to get? Unless you're getting Joel Embiid or something like that, it doesn't make any sense. Go draft Scoot Henderson, trade Damian Lillard for a nice package, for the best package you can, right? Will the Knicks take him? Can you get, RJ Barrett and Grimes and, a handful of firsts? Because, the Knicks have a ton of assets, right? And they are desperate and hungry for a star. Can you do something like that? Can you trade him to, can you trade him to the Sixers for Maxey and some picks or something like that? And just rebuild, kind of retool, have your guys imagine if you could get Maxey, right? Just using him as an example. then like now you have like Scoot Henderson, you have Maxey, you have Sharp. It's a pretty good core, right? That's a pretty good foundation going forward. I mean, again, Damian Lillard, 32 years old. He's already having a ton of injury issues, undersized guard. It just feels like his window has came and went, right? It feels like it's the relationship that should have broken up years ago that didn't, and you're just kind of staying together for the kids. It's kind of what it feels like, right? You're just staying together to show face and for the fandom. Like I don't even think Blazer fans would be upset if he asked out. Like I don't. Like I think Blazer fans would even be like, hey, like good luck to you. Hopefully you win an NBA championship. We're gonna draft Scoot Henderson and we're gonna rebuild. Now, maybe you make sure you draft Scoot first, right? Like, you draft Scoot Henderson, and then after you draft Scoot, it's like, okay, we got Scoot. Let's look to move Damian Lillard. If you don't have a chance, like say Scoot gets taken number 2 by Charlotte, then then maybe at that point, maybe then you go and say, okay, well, let's trade the third pick and try to do something on the fly. Or maybe you just draft, best player available at that point. And I don't know. I think it makes more sense to just trade Damian Lillard. I really do. I really just think they're just playing that game of like, the time has came and went and we just haven't done it yet. And I think that they have a real golden opportunity to do it, right? Like again, even if you don't get Scoot Henderson, right? Like let's say you get like Brandon Miller, right? Brandon Miller is projected to go second to the Charlotte Hornets. Like even if you get Brandon Miller, do you still just trade Damian Lillard and build around him? I really think it's time. I think it's time to move on. I really do. And I really think if you can get Scoot Henderson, I think that's it. You draft Scoot Henderson and you trade Damian Lillard and you build around Scoot and you try to do things right this time. You got a great player in Sharp, right? Even if you still want to trade Simons, right? Like let's say they do. Let's say they're like, hey, we still want to get something. We would like to move Simons. Like, okay, fine. Like move everybody else if you want, right? Like look at it like this. If you trade Damian Lillard, right? You could also trade Nurkic, right? And get whatever you can for those guys. Let's say you do trade Simons. Okay. Well, now you still have Scoot Henderson. You have Sharp. You have Cam Reddish, Kevin Knox. You have Nazar Little, right? I feel like I'm missing another young guy. But you get my point. Like you got this nice young core, and then you have whatever you're going to get for Damian Lillard, whatever you get for Simons, whatever you get for Nurkic. Like that's pretty good, right? Like why not? I think it's time for the Blazers to just stop fooling themselves. I know Damian Lillard wants to be there. He wants to stay. And, he's the guy that's not, he's the guy that hasn't, he's the star that hasn't forced his way out, right? But at what point, if you're Portland, do you just say, hey, it's time? You're only getting older. Where do you want to go? We'll send you where you want to go. It makes all the sense in the world for us to draft Scoot Henderson and hit the rebuild button. We had a great run. Go try to win a championship. We'll trade you wherever you want to go. Take your pick. We'll get whatever we can for you, and we'll send you where you want to go. Like, that's what I think they should do. I really do. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Do you agree? Do you think, draft Scoot Henderson? Again, just go watch his workout video. His workout video, you see that guy. He's knocking down threes. He's, making shots off the dribble. He's making some passes. He's slamming the ball. You see that quickness and explosiveness. He's showing what he's capable of. I think you draft him. I really do. You draft him and you allow him to be the cornerstone, and you go the new direction, right? And look, if Damian Lillard wants to stay, fine. Keep Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard has been outspoken and has said himself that, like, hey, I don't want to wait 3 years for a guy to develop. If he doesn't want that, trade him. If he's like, hey, you know what, I'll stick around because I want to retire a Blazer, then fine, let him stay and retire a Blazer. But I think it's just time to trade him. But anyway, again, however you feel, let me know.